In this video, we're going to talk about a type of insulation that has been banned in Canada since 1980, but is still causing issues for homeowners today over 40 years later. And funny enough, Canada actually incentivized homeowners financially to get them to put this insulation in their homes, and then just 3 years later banned it outright, and then offered financial assistance to get them to remove it, which cost them over $300 million. My name is Jessie McLellan, and I'm a realtor here in Oshawa, Ontario with the Lisa Abbott Team, and today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about urea formaldehyde foam insulation, otherwise known as UFFI, and how it's still causing issues today. So what is UFFI? UFFI is a low-density foam that was pumped into wall cavities of homes, and it felt like shaving cream and looked like shaving cream until it hardened, and it was usually white, cream, or blue in color. And this insulation process was considered an improvement over the conventional process because it didn't require any walls to be taken down to add insulation. The Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, also known as CMHC, approved UFFI in 1977. Not long after being approved by the CMHC, the Canadian government offered cash incentives for homeowners to insulate with UFFI. And by 1980, over 100,000 homes contained urea formaldehyde insulation. So if the Canadian government was incentivizing the use of UFFI, what was the problem with it? It was typically mixed on site using urea formaldehyde resin, a foaming agent, and compressed air. When the chemical was added during the curing process, fears of off-gassing of the formaldehyde, an irritating and potentially carcinogenic gas, arose. High concentrations of this gas can cause burning in the eyes, nose, and throat. And long-term exposure at medium concentrations can worsen asthma symptoms, especially in children or infants. If installed correctly, UFFI should only off-gas for a day or two, but if it was installed incorrectly, it could be a longer period of time. With rising concerns and panic starting to spread about the potential hazards of formaldehyde gas, Health and Welfare Canada set the residential exposure guideline to 0.1 parts per million in 1979, and by 1980, UFFI was banned in Canada. In 1981, a government removal assistance program was created for homeowners with UFFI, and this ran until September of 1986. By 1983, the government had spent almost $300 million to subsidize the removal of UFFI. Since then, there have been numerous studies done on the levels of formaldehyde gas found in homes. A national study found the level of formaldehyde gas in homes to be 0.054 parts per million in homes with UFFI and 0.036 parts per million in homes without UFFI insulation, both of which are considerably lower than the health standard of 0.1 parts per million. And urea formaldehyde foam insulation is not the only thing that gives off formaldehyde gas. In fact, formaldehyde is also found in a lot of pressed wood products such as hardwood, plywood, and particle board, which are often used in construction and renovations and commonly used to make cabinets and furniture products. Paints, varnishes, floor finishes, and adhesives can also all give off formaldehyde gas. Getting a new carpet even gives off formaldehyde gas for the first few days after installation. So the level of formaldehyde gas can actually be higher in newly built or newly renovated homes. Formaldehyde emissions decrease over time, and depending on the product, it can take days, weeks, months, or even years to fully dissipate. Unfortunately, even though we know that UFFI doesn't cause unsafe concentrations of formaldehyde gas, and that moving into a newly built home or installing new carpet can release just as much, if not more, formaldehyde gas in the first few days than UFFI, there is still a strong stigma around homes that contain UFFI. The CMHC has not required a UFFI declaration for mortgage loan insurance since 1993, and most insurance companies do not prejudice against it. But the Ontario Real Estate Association requires a declaration of UFFI on its agreement of purchase and sale. The negative stigma that surrounds homes that have UFFI can affect the market value of these homes. And in the past, failure to disclose the presence of UFFI has resulted in costly lawsuits. This is unfortunate for homeowners because even though UFFI can cause mild health concerns at medium or high concentrations, if UFFI was installed correctly, it would have released all of its gas within a few days. And even if it was installed incorrectly, it's been over 40 years since it was banned in Canada, and it's very unlikely for it to be off-gassing over 4 decades later. If you're at a home built pre-1980 and you're trying to figure out whether it might have UFFI or not, take a look on the exterior for injection holes that might look like this. although if the home was resurfaced, those holes might not be visible. You can also check the basement where the floor joists meet the walls, because it may also have oozed out of that space. And you can also check behind outlets and switches. Removing UFFI is very time-consuming and expensive. It requires completely removing interior and exterior walls and can cost upwards of $50,000. But many homeowners have lost thousands and thousands of dollars on the sale of their home because of UFFI, so you have to weigh your options. If UFFI has been installed properly and is not showing any signs of deterioration or molds due to moisture buildup, then there really is no need to remove it from a health concern perspective. However, the foam can shrink considerably over time depending on how the product was mixed. Whether or not somebody chooses to remove UFFI from a home value perspective is a whole other choice. Hopefully you found this information helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you have a question for me, leave a comment, shoot me a text, or schedule a call with me. All of that info is in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!